Here we are, week 5 now. Get ready going out across the pond. Team's excited, ready. New challenges, new opportunities for us. You look at the game Sunday and how it went. Obviously, there was a lot of ups and downs, a whole lot of positives to come out of it. I think we learned a lot about ourselves as a team, which is always a good thing when you come out of it with a road divisional win. But this is a resilient team, man. The way that we responded, hit a little adversity kind of in the second half, really at the end of the first half. Obviously, the muffed punt was a huge, huge momentum swing that really kind of gave them a little bit of life right before the half, wanted to be able to go get 7 points right there to make it a 28-7 game rather than, could have been a 31, 35-0 game possibly, depending on, if that thing went a different way or a different result than what it was. But our guys responded the right way. It was great to see Will kind of make that field goal to make it a 2-possession game, kind of with 4 minutes remaining. I don't, people may not realize how huge of a kick that truly was, especially with the conditions, swirling winds down there, cross winds. Their guy had already missed 2 going the opposite way right there, so you can understand just the level of difficulty, whether it was a chip-in shot or a little bit deeper, for him to be able to go in that pressure situation and be able to knock that through the uprights and make it a 2-possession football game was huge for us. But again, a lot of learning opportunities, and we'll grow from it and kind of get ready to take this thing on the road versus a really, really good opponent. You got a really good specs group with Zerline, Morstead, Hennessy at the snapper, Gibson the returner, well-coached group, physical as ever. Irvin Charles is a gunner that's playing some really, really elite football right now. So looking forward to the challenge there. They got a great core of guys, and so it's gonna be a good matchup, and we're looking forward to it.
Were you familiar with Kamu Grugier-Hill before this? I mean, he had a great history as a special teamer and comes in, and now he's been able to play multiple roles for this team, and even
Absolutely, Matt. I have known this guy really since he came into the league back in 2016, I want to say. He kind of came out as a lighter body. Wasn't sure, was he kind of hybrid? Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? He came out probably weighed 210 pounds, but he was running, 4.4 flat. And Flo actually ended up drafting him up in New England. And, I probably faced him out of my 7 years of being in the NFL 4 times. And he was always a guy that we circled. He's physical, he's fast, he's tough, smart as ever. He's got great instincts. As you can see, he's got great ball skills. But he's kind of always been a guy that's been on the radar that as a special teams demon is kind of how we categorize him. But, to get him in this building has been great for us as an organization, great for our young players. He's excellent communicator, very motivator. He's a very positive guy. He's always kind of got some jokes to him. He's just a good guy to be around, and he's always offering up ideas. What you think about this? How would you want to kind of consider this? And he has a good creative mindset, and he's kind of floating out the idea that he's told me he wants to become a future coach in this league. So that's always encouraging to hear. And he kind of does have that kind of coaching mindset, just in terms of being attentive to the details and truly understanding what guys are trying to do to him, and kind of always being a step ahead. So it's good to see him flourish from a defensive standpoint, but kind of being that stronghold for us from a special team standpoint as well.
What have you thought of the Gunners so far, just without having Najee and the hit that probably was, but the way that those guys performed? What have you thought so far?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was a huge loss kind of going into the season, not being able to have Nigel, him going on IR. But you look at what Jay Ward and Caleb have been able to do, as a collective effort has been, really, really good. Really good, especially look at the tackle that Caleb, AK, ended up having versus Nixon on the very last punt. Ended up defeating 2, split 2, stacked the other 0 right there, made a nice wrap and roll tackle for a gain of 1 yard. Critical situation. I mean, I think now we've had 5 returns for like 3 yards on us or something like that. And that's a huge credit to Mr. Wright placing it where it needs to, and those guys winning those matchups on the outside. And all they've done is answer the bell. And, myself and Coach Gibson have really challenged those guys on the outside of really kind of filling that void of, who's going to be the guy now that the guy is kind of sitting on ice. And so, those guys have done an unbelievable job of stepping up and being intentional with their work day in and day out, and truly focusing, meeting with Coach Gibson, week in and week out to truly get a good game plan on how they want to be able to attack those guys on the outside. And it's been really encouraging to see.
Matt, would you say that Jalen, after that muffed punt?
I got the utmost confidence in Speedy in those situations and moments. Again, it was just you just like for him not to catch if the ball is flying over your head, And I think that really falls on me at the end of the day. I got to take full ownership of that, of making sure that he's in the proper spot. The wind was kind of at the back of Waylon there, and typically we kind of like to place the return right around 45 to 47 yards, and maybe I should have factored in that wind and probably put him just a little bit deeper so that way he isn't trying to chase that ball with it going 10 to 15 yards overhead, making a difficult catch for him. So maybe if I place him at a better depth initially, instead of having him at that 45, maybe placing him more at a 55, because it's always easier to run up to get balls than it is to be able to track them going backwards, especially if that nose starts to fall down, turn over, and ball starting to move right to left on you right there. And so I got to be better in that moment of just kind of setting his alignment better so he can track it better and feel more confident about getting it, rather than him trying to go run backwards 15 yards and the ball's going over his head there.
What is your sense for just kicking over there for this game? With the turf is always seemingly a conversation. I guess what are you telling Will about that?
Yeah, we had a conversation about that yesterday, actually, just in terms of, a lot of times it's wet over there, or it's cloudy days, gray days, a little bit of a wind. It's probably be 60 right now, sitting around about 60 degrees for game time. The turf can be slick at times, but I think we kind of go into it with the same mindset of treating it, as if it's a home game for us, and we'll always go out, check it. Usually we kind of do a walkthrough in the stadium the day before the game, so we get a good idea what the footing is going to be like out there. So it'd be good for Will to kind of get out there the day before, get his lines, get a feel for what the surface is going to be like. Wind shouldn't be too much of a factor. You possibly might be dealing with a little bit of wetness, but outside of that, it should be it's turf, so it should be good.
When an opponent does miss a couple in a road game, are you paying attention to that and working through any potential adjustments with Will, or is he just locked in on his normal routine?
I missed the beginning of that, Craig.
So after Green Bay missed 2 kicks, is Will just still focusing on whatever his pre was?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Will isn't even that's not even something that actually even goes through his mind, just in terms of, seeing, maybe he might pay attention to, where did he miss at, but it's hard to even try to kind of determine that without knowing truly what was the ball striking like. Was it a miss hit on the kicker's behalf, or was it the wind that kind of took it there? We don't know what that kicker's line truly was. Was there something in the operation to throw the kickoff? So he doesn't take any heed at all to, what goes on the other side, or what the other operation looks like there, to be able to say he might need to adjust this or that. But what I would say is that the going towards our tunnel was much difficult to kick going that way than kind of going on the opposite side to the right of our bench.
And then Byron said, you were one of the first persons he saw after the punch out.
Oh yeah. So I'm kind of like the turnover guy for the defense. So I do all of the turnover drills and meetings and everything like that. And we always talk about kind of building this subconscious mindset when it comes to being able to punch the football out or attack the football. And that's kind of really what we've been building. You got to be intentional about it and obviously create this conscious mindset of going for the football. But eventually you want it to become subconscious. And he was just saying that as soon as he did end up making that play, or really as he was in the moment, he was kind of just thinking about me, because I've really been on him specifically when it comes to attacking the football. And so, just to kind of see that come to life for him, making those back-to-back turnovers was huge for us. And to see him respond with kind of the hard coaching that I've been giving him over the past couple of weeks, it's good to see. It's good to see. So I'm happy for Murph.
Does that go back to your playing days, or how did you become the turnover guy?
Yeah, so it kind of, when I kind of was always kind of doing it. So when I was in Dallas, myself and Bones, we were always kind of the guys that took heed to the turnovers. Always went to the defensive coaches, kind of banging on the table and wanted to take full autonomy, be able to do it. And they allowed us to do it. When Ed Donatel came in, I approached him, told him that I wanted to be the guy to present the turnovers, for the opponents, run the drills, talk about the techniques and tactics. And, he gave me the job responsibility. And coming in with 23, when Flo got hired, he asked who was in charge of the turnovers. He said he liked the way that it was done at 22, and he wanted to keep things the same way. So I got the job again. So we just kind of been keeping the same, and we're seeing some good results. So it's good. It's good.
So what has been the key to so many turnovers this year for this team?
I think the biggest thing is we always talk about disruption. That's pressures, and it's a quarterback-driven league. And so we always talk about how can we create disruption to the quarterback. Pressures, hits, hurries, sacks. It's kind of how we categorize that. And if you look at it, I think it's really us and like top two. I want to say right now, and like pressure rate is us in Seattle. And so, we're just trying to figure out how can we find a way to continue to find pressure on the quarterback, disrupt him in the backfield, get him off the spot, throw off the time and the rhythm of the offense. And that's kind of been, huge for us, leading the league in sacks, top 2 in pressure rate, probably leading the league in interceptions as well. And so that's kind of been the huge success for us. And now we're trying to find a way to turn it over from a fumble standpoint, And again, that's all about, building that subconscious mindset. And, I talk to the guys about Malcolm Gladwell's book called Blink, which talks a lot about, how deep the subconscious is. Like we don't realize like the power of our subconscious. So that's kind of where that kind of came from. So it's cool to see the results kind of come, the process of it all, and to see the results come to action on the field. It's encouraging.
So why'd you wait so long to tell us that you were the turnover guy?
I don't know. It never came up. I don't know. It is what it is. But no, it's great, man. I enjoy doing it. Grateful for Flo to give me the opportunity to do it. So, we all know that, turnovers and takeaway margins is the biggest really statistic in our game. And so we just continue to try to find a way to stay on the positive side of it. So, hold on to it and take it away. Be good. Cool. Appreciate y'all.